Our next speaker is Igor. So, Igor, you can start.
Okay, thank you, Maria. Thank you all for coming here. As you already heard, I'm Igor, and I hope you know which talk this is. This is from project to product roadmaps. I hope you're all in the right talk, and I hope that you all still have some freshness to hear the last talk for today. So some quick info about me. So I worked with various companies, clients, and in various roles. You can see some of them here. I guess some of them are familiar with you. And I went through various, let's say, roles coming from project management to agile and product management. And I worked in all of them. I post regularly on LinkedIn some agile and product tip, tricks, and memes. You'll see some memes here. So if you want to connect, I'll be more than happy. And let's get started. Okay. So today I'm talking about this project to product roadmaps, and you'll see the concept of roadmaps 3.0. So starting from 1.0, that is more kind of oriented towards the projects. You'll have the 2.0, which are more agile, and the 3.0, which are kind of project and product and beyond. You'll see what I'm talking about. And one of the most important things in this talk, which I would love if you would take with you, is that the roadmap actually structures and dictates our mental and work model. This is very important, and I hope you'll see it. And I hope you can understand throughout this talk, like why is this so important and how that shapes not only how we think and work, but also how others think and work. And when I say others, I mean everybody who actually sees the roadmap, which I guess should be like a large part of the organization. So after this talk, if you choose to select some different models of the roadmap, or if you select some changes in the roadmap, you'll be actually changing the way that people around you think and work. And you'll also maybe enable yourself to kind of work better and more easily. So I hope that's a good bargain. And if we start from the roadmaps 1.0, which I mentioned, those have, let's say, the roots mostly in project management. And the questions that they ask are like, who is doing what, when it's going to be done, what is the progress, and what are the dependencies that we have. So I guess these are questions that probably still a lot of us kind of hear, maybe more than we would like to do. But you can see that most of these are actually connected to two things, the ones that I put to bold. It's like when something is going to get done, and like the what, when is this going to get done? All other things are kind of following on. So I'm trying to describe this mental model that these kinds of roadmaps bring in. So it's like who you want some accountability, individual or a department usually. What we're talking about requirements, sometimes like big documentations and so on, things that are not so optimized for flow and so on. When that is the main question, like when are we going to have this? When are we going to have that? What is the progress? Are we late? Do we need to reschedule, reestimate this and that? Are there any dependencies that are blocking us? So this is kind of the mindset that is here. And also it can have some additional downfalls, like, you want to have everything under control. So then you have additional management that can become micromanagement and all of these things. And these kinds of roadmaps are kind of, when you see them, you'll know to which part they belong to. So I started off with the first example, like trying to be as transparent as possible. And to be honest, I'm really happy about this tool. Yeah, I'll be also showing you some tools. I'm happy about this tool because it's called very transparently Gantt.com. So it doesn't hide anything. It's a Gantt chart. It's coming from project management. And you can see like most of these questions there, like who, you can see like by departments, electrical, plumbing, and so on. What, you can see exactly what, when, progress, dependencies, you can see everything here. It's a big timeline and the work that is needed. Uh, what I additionally like about it, as I said, it's zero lipstick. It actually says like the example they took is like construction of a house. So it's not a digital product. It's nothing that you need like a more traditional product management or agile for it. It's just like purely old school project management, and a great example for project management. So when I show you this, you might see like, yeah, but we don't use this Gantt charts that are old. Like who uses Gantt charts in 2023? Like which tool doesn't even support this, in 2023, especially the agile and product tools. So you might heard of this one. I guess it's pretty famous, Jira. And you can see like it's a very nice Gantt chart with a very colorful and slick lipstick. So it has these wonderful colors, better design. It's not, this one is rough, this one is old school rough, but this one is slick. This one has some new designs, new curvy lines, and so on. So, and this is not the Gantt chart anymore. Now it's called a roadmap. So, just by putting some lipstick, you're not into project management anymore. Now you're being more modern. You're doing maybe agile or, even product management and so on. But you can see like you can say, but yeah, but it has less features. It's not full-fledged Gantt chart as we saw it. Well, think again. You're right, but that's what we have in advanced roadmaps in Jira. So this is a fully fledged Gantt chart. Again, with some modernizations, but you can see even the look. It's going back closer to this one than this one. They made this more colorful and slick. And instead of milestones, you have sprints and so on. So it's a nice move. And yeah, this is what I'm always like. So whenever I see that somebody says like we use agile roadmaps, like I'm right, like no Gantt charts, right? And then when you see the roadmap, you'll probably find the Gantt chart in there. You'll see, I don't think Gantt charts are like that bad, nor project management. It all has its purpose, but it's important that we don't, mix the things, and that we're aware what we're using and when, and so on. So Jira is pretty old tool, it has this old mentality. So I chosen another one, which is pretty new, ClickUp. It's one of the, more modern tools and so on. And you can see the new amount of lipstick here. So it says build the ultimate product roadmap. So it's not only a roadmap, it's a product roadmap. Strategic timelines, facilitate, theme, collaboration, goal. It has all the right words, right? Really sounds good. But then you look at here, and this is a bit more slick than it is in reality. What is this? A Gantt chart. So you can see again, like who's doing what, when, progress, and so on, dependencies. It's all there. It's all there. And it's a roadmap, classical one. Coda.io, also brand new tool, very cool, very useful. Again, this is their product roadmap, but they did put timeline in here, so they kind of accept that it's a timeline, Roadmonk, it was to be honest, like at first I was like, oh my, well, this looks awesome. This is much more agile at first. I guess I'm my weakness is, I guess, colors. That's why I like to use Miro for presentations and so on. Like I like colors. So they caught me off guard. And I was like, yeah, but this also has different swim lanes, and it has this different, goals and so on. They're not goals, they're like topics. And then I started noticing things like, oh, milestones. And then you can see that what is actually important to them here are releases, mobile app launch, this launch, that launch. So it's just, launching mentality, just like deliver, like a feature factory, release factory, however you call it. No additional improvements, no, additional discovery or this or that. They exactly know when they're going to be successful, right? So this is actually not a standard Gantt chart. I had to think about it a bit harder. And then I remember, yeah, there are like also multiple project Gantt charts. So this is the one, just with more color and so on. And this is maybe the first thing that I want to show because yeah, most of the road mapping tools that you will find are actually just Gantt charts. And it's, as you'll see, it's not bad. The questions that they're asking are also important to some extent, but there's a problem in there. I call this like the treasure map mindset. So, the goal is here, and we need to go there. We need to dig it out. We need to find it. We know where the goal is. This is the treasure map mindset, and then we draw this treasure map, and it's like, if we go back here, we need to do two-factor authentication, language localization, this, that, and so on. And then we launch, and then we're rich, we're successful, we celebrate the launch, and so on. Maybe we don't have any users nor any impact, but who cares? We launched, we'll tackle that later. So this is kind of the mindset, and I intentionally use the children's drawing because it's a bit of a children mentality that you're going to pass by the rock skull Indian village. What is this? Dead pineapple, I don't know, jungle, and then just dig out a hole and find treasure. Well, you're probably going to dig a hole and you can lay down in it, but there are like super low chances there's going to be real treasure in there. And yeah, I checked the Mind the Product blog while I was kind of doing discovery. I don't want to make this like just this one mindset, but the most of the roadmaps are just like in this format. And if I were to summarize this roadmap 1.0 or project roadmaps, it's good for project management, definitely. Like these questions are important, but in your company, in your team, or wherever you present this, if you want to be agile, this won't work. I mean, do these roadmaps present any options? No, you have like a one clear path, like from point A to point B. Does it provide you any flexibility? No, because actually, yeah, there are changes in project management about like different variables like time, scope, budget, so on, but nobody actually likes that. It's not welcomed. People don't want that. People want you in control, on plan, like that you create a plan, you stick to it, you do it, and everybody's happy because you managed to do the plan, but no outcomes. And the last thing is uncertainty. In this kind of environment, uncertainty is not something that people wish to hear. It can even, bring you some downfalls. It can be bad if you show or, present any uncertainty. They can look at you like, that person is not doing their job right. They have to have no uncertainty and so on. Well, we know that we only are 100% certain only when we launched and when we see the real data, no matter even if we did proper discovery. So what I want to say here, like the first thing that I want you to kind of understand, that depending if you're using this kind of a roadmap, expect this to be kind of quite good, these questions getting answered, but don't expect to have this mentality of agile nor product mentality, more like having outcomes, checking on impact, improving, and so on. And also there are some hints, right? What you can do to kind of work on that. Oh, sorry. Yeah. And I see a lot of these agile tools kind of, just killing all the agile out of it. And then I see even some blogs in these tools and some other people saying like, yeah, tools don't matter. Yeah, you can do it anyway. Well, guess what? It's not really true. The first principle of agile, the first value says like individuals and interactions over processes and tools. So it's like, it's better. You can always make it. Yeah, that's right. You can do it, but you can do it like with a lot of difficulty, and you can do it in spite of having this tool. But the tools should enable you, and they should kind of create the mental model through which you will work and through which you will work more easily and better. And that brings us to roadmaps 2.0. These one are like more agile, where we have options, flexibility, uncertainty integrated. The first example is ProdPad. It's an interesting tool for product management, and they have this one. As you know, I think it's one of the most favorite ones for product managers is like now, next, later. And what happened here? I mean, this is just like a simple Kanban board, but what actually happened? It's the difference is like astronomical, because now like the only certainty that we have is that now we're working on this now. We might be working on this next, right? There is also some uncertainty here already. And later it's like, yeah, we're probably going to take these things, but it's already more open to changes. It's pretty easy to change cards, to pull up, to pull there. It's an easy change even in the tool. And it's not committing, it's like enabling you more for these changes that you learn through feedback, through any like data or anything that you get, any insights. So I said like uncertainty is there, flexibility is there, and options are there, and people can see them. So that's already a big difference. And people feel, I saw like a very, very comfortable with using this. Another one is product board, pretty similar. You can see like even some sub items in between. And they have, for instance, tried to map out their product cycle here, from a new idea, which is an option. Then some of them get into candidate, and some of the candidates get into product discovery. So their choice was to kind of map out the process that they have, which is also really nice and really useful. Also keeping the flexibility. This one is something that I found very interesting, Kanbanize.com. So you can imagine it's a Kanban tool. And it has like a lot of, you can set up a multiple level Kanban board. It's very interesting, very worth to kind of explore. To be honest, I think I will explore it even more to see what possibilities it hides additionally. But here, additionally, you can set, for instance, VIP limits, which is good. It enables you to focus, to do less things, so you can, focus better and get better results. It can also help you in kind of categorizing the work that you're doing, and so on. And there are other things that you will find here. A lot of analytics out of the box and so on. So it's quite interesting. Yeah, I mentioned this tool now is the version 2, Roadmonk. Again, they used kind of the similar thing. They kind of map out the process. You can see the progress here. So some things from the project management version, which is nice. Seeing the progress is not a bad thing. Also, they kind of grouped it by topics, I guess. And it's kind of a mix of some of these things. It's like a Gantt chart made more agile in this way with these swim lanes and so on. So it's quite interesting. It's quite interesting. And there is this thing that kind of comes up. It's all good, all nice. And I saw like really a ton of people, especially from the product, like loving this format, like now, next, later, and so on. And then suddenly one day you're sitting at your desk, like enjoying your roadmap, and then you kind of hear somebody from the back, whispering into your ear, like when it will be done. And then, all the fun kind of ends there, because now you have to go back to the 1.0 model and you need to see what to do with it. This is why I say kind of strikes back, because people need this, like various departments or stakeholders in your company will need an answer to this question. It's just a reality. And even if they didn't ask it before, I know even some companies which were more flexible and this and that. Now with the recession and with all the economic impacts, this question has gotten back to the table along with project management a lot. So it's a realistic question. And we'll see later why. Yeah, this is exactly. So if you're into product management and if you're into impact and value, time and costs are also value, because it's not the same. The time where when you deliver something, it's not the same, especially if you have competitors, or if it's seasonality effects and so on, that can change the value a lot. Also the cost, like if you're going to develop something for a short time or a long time, it's also changing the value, because if you do something in 1 week or 1 year, value is totally different. And this is also why I say, like, the 1.0 strikes back. Like, if you don't know the cost, you can't know actually what the value is, because you need this also in the equation. And yeah, I wanted to give you just some everyday examples for the things that I've talked about. So I guess most of us, when we go into like a grocery shop or everywhere, like, I guess we still kind of check the prices, just like, oh, how much does this cost? How much does this cost? And so on. And then, like, you can make your plan, you know where you want to invest, what you want to buy. You make decisions based on multiple factors, like, I don't know, quality, brand, need, all this, but you also take cost into account. And this is normal. And this is why we need the when it's going to be done or how long it's going to take. This is why some, probably mostly business people, need this, to make the good estimates or calculations on their budget. And you can imagine, like, imagine if you went to a store where there are no prices, no price tags. And then you kind of, I don't know, you're buying something and you're buying a shampoo. So I buy a shampoo. And when I get to the cashier, I still don't know the price. I know the price only when I pay, when I give them cash or swipe my card. And then I see the bill, and then I'm like, oh, that's how much that cost. So that would be a super, super unpleasant experience. And, I would probably look at the product, try to figure out, give some guesses, but I could be surprised in a positive way or a negative way. And this mostly happens with, other stakeholders, shareholders, and so on. And this is why we also need to take care of the price tags, so to say. Of course, we don't need this kind of like 199. That is ridiculous for for what we're doing, but we need to have some ranges or approximate knowledge. And also the last one is for when it's going to be done. So imagine if you have multiple departments and maybe you're working with marketing and sales, they need to kind of, how to say, organize their work in the best way. They need to see when they're going to sell something, market something, prepare campaigns, make some deals, and so on. And if they don't know when it's going to be there, so imagine, like, I'm trying to meet with this guy, and he asks me, he's like, hey, let's meet on the street. Yeah, sure, let's meet. When are we going to meet? I'm like, I don't know, I'll be there when I'm there. So this guy is probably still waiting on the street. Hopefully he figured out that I'm not going to come soon, so he will go somewhere. But I wasted a ton of his time. He could use it much better. And this is why we need also this information from the 1.0 or project management. And this is the last, just trying to, again, relive the main kind of thing that I'm trying to say. Like, you can use this, like, this is a screw and somebody's trying to hit it like it's a nail, and this is a hammer, and it's not a hammer, it's like a wrench. So this is how I see when you're using the wrong roadmap. You can do some things, even with that, like, you can do this crazy thing and be agile or product in some very bad roadmap. But as soon as you give that tool to somebody else, they won't think the way that you're thinking. When you give somebody a wrench, they're like, oh yeah, I need to screw some bolts. They won't think of nailing down a screw, and so on. So this is why these things are quite important from my side. And I hope that you missed it by now, that you saw, like, we didn't mention outcomes in the roadmaps, which I think for product managers are probably the most important things. So summarizing 2.0, yes, it's agile. Yes, it has options, flexibility, uncertainty. It doesn't have all elements for project management, but it has some. So it's combination already of 1 and 2. But what are these 3.0 roadmaps that I actually want to talk about, the product roadmaps or product and beyond, actually. How I see them as like combining all the knowledge that we learned, from the previous states, and kind of using modern technologies and the product mindset, to kind of optimize more and go towards outcomes and optimization. And now I'm going to throw you like in a different model to kind of think about the principles that we have. For me, like I'm using Google Maps regularly, I think almost daily, and I really like how they're working. And what I do, so for instance, I want to get from point A to point B. So let's say that this is my house and this is where I want to be. What do I actually get here? And why am I talking about road maps and this real map of the road? Let me show you why I really love this one. Okay, let's analyze it. I have a baseline. I live here. I actually live somewhere around, but let's say I live here. This is the baseline, and this is the goal. This is what I want to achieve, right? What does Google Maps give me? It gives me the metrics, it gives me options, you can take this road or this road or this road. It has options, and it has price tags in time connected to all of them, with some additional things like how long is the trip, so I can see how much gas I'm going to use, or how much emissions I'm going to have with this trip, and so on. It's giving me options based on data and research, which is amazing, and it's even showing me risks along the way. This is very important. I see the risks, which I might or not take. I might end up at the end just walking, or taking a bicycle or something like that. So I can even change the vehicle. This can be in our work, like instead of tackling something in code, maybe you just need different marketing, or sales or something, just changing the whole vehicle. So options, and I can see work items. I can see which street do I need to take. So it's pretty a good model for a roadmap. And when I go, it's not just like it's giving me that and it doesn't change anytime. It's a living document. So it's tracking my progress. It's continuously getting updated. It has a lot of, it's doing things automatically. And it's helping me a lot. Maybe I can along the way change course to get to my goal in the best way. And these are all the principles that we should also take into account when we're using or creating roadmaps. And I'll think like somebody comes to me or to you and says like, we need to go through 10 streets this quarter. And you'll be like, what the hell did you just say? Because in this roadmap, it doesn't make sense. Like, okay, I need to go through 10 streets. Like, why? Where do you want to be? I want to get there. Or like, do you just want to run? Why would you like to go through that 10 streets, And I see like still dozens of roadmaps where it's like, we need to finish these features, we need to do this, we need to do that. Like, and it doesn't make sense if you don't have the, the more higher goal. And also it helps you asking the right questions. Like if you want to go through 10 streets, why? What do you want to achieve? And so on. Are we achieving it? When we went to the first street, are we now closer to the goal, or are we further from the goal maybe? This is also something that could happen. Okay. One thing I found like also very interesting, you might know it from Teresa Torres. I love her work. It's like the opportunity solution tree. It's not something that I've seen being used like a roadmap regularly, but I still want to show you, to give you just some ideas and so on, how this could be used. So you can see that you actually have these elements. You have the base for the desired outcome. So this is what we want to achieve. If we know what we want to achieve in the metrics, like you have to have a baseline, like I'm here currently, and this is where I want to be. So it's a baseline goal metric. And we're kind of tracking progress, after each opportunity, after each thing that we do, are we closer, further, or at the same place? you have dozens of options, and they're based on data research because you should be talking to users all the time and building up this map and so on. So it's continuously updated. You also kind of want to figure out the risks, the costs, and everything. And this really helps. Uh, Unfortunately, it's not automatic, and maybe you don't see all the work items. You can link it and see work items, no problem. But it helps a lot. And as you can see, like, is like if you're here, you can take multiple paths to your desired outcome. So I think it's really worth kind of investing some time and kind of exploring this if you didn't. Also, as you might notice, big fan of Mural, whatever. Like they're great because you can do whatever works for you. And I've tried to create like let's say a sketch or something that some of the things that I've been using and how I kind of use some of these things just to again get your thought process going, or maybe you can change some of the tooling that you're using, or maybe if you find something like this, let me know and I can use it in a better way. So what I kind of prefer is like the first things first, again, baseline goal metrics. Okay, I combined the roadmap with the OKRs. So this is an objective that we have. These are the key results. And you're probably familiar with this, like, yellow, red, yellow, green statuses. But what I like here is that I try to use them for the impact or for the outcomes that we're trying to drive, so that they're on the top. And then everything that we're doing is actually should be aligning there, and we can see where we need to invest more. Like if this key result is good, like we don't have to invest more, but this one is red, this one is critical, we need to invest more here. So these changes in your goals and product goals, hopefully, will drive all the changes in the rest of the roadmap. And then you can easily communicate this, and then you kind of combine not only the agile spirit of just like, oh yeah, great, we can be flexible, but we're also showing everybody why we're doing this and making them more open for this different kind of work. Also, like if you're just mapping out things, you can map out options. That helps people understand that not everything is going to get done. Discovery phase, it's important to know that it's there. Delivery. And I think also a very important thing that I see missing on a lot of roadmaps is like that it goes from delivered to done. And I think this phase is quite important, to kind of measure and improve, because you probably won't get your impact right away on the first run. You need to iterate and so on. So why not make it transparent and use it? And also, I'm a big proponent of, as you heard, like WIP limits and so on. So you can kind of focus more, and you can then define for each phase, like how many items you want to work on. I mean, you can modify this additionally as much as you like. Yeah, this should be based on data research options. You can track progress. You can see this one says like 75, 50, 25, when it started, and for these one, when it started, when it's done. This can help you in kind of also understanding the cost and so on. Yeah, this one is when it's going to be done, for instance, so nobody has to ask you over and over again. They can just go here like, okay, this is when they're saying it's going to be done and so on. You can use color coding for risks and so on. And there are a lot of things that can actually get automated. So this can help a lot. Let me just get back into the presentation mode. Okay. Of course, we can get back to this and talk about it more. And in summary, this is what I've been kind of trying to show you, this path from roadmaps 1.0, which are in project management, and these which are in Agile. And you might know like Agile has fought a lot about like against project management, but I think, we need to accept realities and kind of combine them together, and not only them, but also product, and also kind of embrace all the modern technologies that we have and that are coming. And as you all might know, there is no real presentation without a cat in it. So here is one cat for you. and we can start with the questions that you hopefully have. Also connect with me on LinkedIn. I'll be more than happy to connect. You can search my name there.